Hey, it's H here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Bitcoin. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Wave Theory and provide multiple scenarios the price may take and explain why I prefer one counter over another. Let's take a look at the different possibilities. Starting here on 4 hour time frame and looking at the scenarios from these lows of around June 18th, around on the 2022 lows. Again, since then we had a few different ideas. One of them was originally by Dan, where we had this as a wave, then looking for that larger wave B, where we would have this as an ABC structure coming down. The issue with this counter is that we have already created new lows here, and it would be very out of proportion to create this as some kind of wave 4 here, or even a bit larger wave 4 with this kind of structure. So I don't think this is very likely anymore. Somewhat very similar to this is the impulse wave count, where on a higher time frame we would be having this as the 1, 2, 3. I've explained why I don't really like that. It's just due to the proportions. There's nothing really wrong about this. I've even seen people having these as 3-way structures, and yeah, that's more like a harmonic Elliott wave structure, because again we don't have any overlap between 1 and 4 here. So for me to have a diagonal, you definitely need to have the overlap, otherwise you're going to go onto that harmonic Elliott wave theory part, and that's not what I practice. So this is still possible as mentioned, but again, just due to the higher time frame proportions, I don't think this is the most likely count. However, we're still keeping track on this. Again, if this was the wave 4 up in here, we would have this as a wave 1, 2, and then we have again 2 different views here. This again can be viewed as a 5-way structure, so again this could be the 3rd wave or a smaller degree wave 1. Now if we are taking more lows here, we would be expecting the low created by this low here to be taken out in RSI if this indeed was a 3rd wave of this magnitude or this degree, basically the minuet count. So if this was a 1, 2, creating a new low, we shouldn't have divergence here. We should take out the lows here that we have. And again, these are very lows. They are less than, let's see, actually 10.05. So it is very less likely that this is actually a lower degree wave 1, but instead it would be that 3rd. Now, again, if that is indeed a 3rd wave, we would have 1, 2, 3, looking for that 4th and then 5th. Again, we already have overlap between this structure over here and this structure over here, which makes it so that this wave 4 again has the overlap. So what we're looking at here is actually a diagonal pattern. Oops. Let's go back to BTC and do some of that. So again, that would be the idea here, what we would be expecting. But I'm going to still leave the lower degree wave structures in here as a potential possibility as well. The one that I've been tracking mostly as my main has been this, where we would have this as an ABC into an A wave, then ABC into W, ABC into X, and now looking for another ABC coming down. Again, we would like this wave B here to get as high as possible, because again the 1.618 this 1.618 on the light green or light blue is the retracement of this move. And again, with the proportions in mind, we don't really want to see that being broken, and if it does, then we need to be looking into the other structures that we have. Again, my main is this one, just because the higher time frame proportions. But yeah, that's that. Here again, the same expectation is that we are creating this. Again, we need to be agreeing on the smaller time frame proportions and the structures that we are creating, and we can utilize those into the multiple counts that we have. And if they have more confluence with each other, then we can be taking shorts and longs based on multiple different higher time frame counts here. So all of these, the impulse wave and the mini ABC here, are now looking at a long possibility here and the short possibility from somewhere up in here downwards. So let's check out the actual trades that we might be having here. Let's start with this one. The idea could be that we had a WXY. This was the idea that I proposed yesterday, the Friday, when we were talking about the weekend structure and how likely it is going to be that it is a sideways structure until a break up or breakdown is going to be happening. So the idea was that if we are creating this as a structure where we would have a running triangle here, A, B, C, D, and E, we would be having this as the end of that connector wave basically. So we would have 5 waves here, triangle here, and then up we go. Again, that is not happening now, and the idea here is that we would be having this as a B, C, D, E instead. So again, this did not really play out, so again we need to be looking into something else, and that something else is this way, the triangle. So again, the overall idea here has been that we had this as an A wave, looking for B wave. B wave again labeled just because again we have retraced beyond the starting point of this A wave, and it is more likely to have that as a B wave instead of a WXY on higher time frame, just due to that fact. So same 5 waves here, even though we did not have divergence between the 3rd and 5th, this is still very likely and okay looking count, just because again all of these 5-wave structures here are very good looking. On smaller time frames, so we could not get a 5-wave structure in here, so we can't really get a WXY properly there. I'm going to be showing you that later on in just a moment, but again, that is that. So instead of having the structure as an ABC that would break upwards, this would break downwards, where we would have this as an A wave. Then the triangle here would be A, B, C, D, E into that B wave, and then the C wave downwards, where we would have this A, B, and C as a structure coming down. If we are looking at a bit smaller time frames, we can see that we hit the 1.382 extension target of this A wave for that C wave to almost to the tick, just went through a bit, and we were talking about on Friday as well about this area of interest where we had some more volume here as well, where we might be getting stuck if we break down, and that is exactly what happened. Also the 0.5 was there as well. We did not really have any other levels here at this area. We do have a daily down here at very lows, around 15.77k area, where we have a bit more volume as well, not too much though, so that is definitely an area of interest. We don't have any fib retracements for that area, but that is definitely an area of interest for sure. So this would be meaning that the possible wave 2 would be already in, or we would be creating this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, creating a smaller or one more leg downwards for this possible 5th wave to happen. I'm already in a long position for this one, as there is a possibility where we have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. But yeah, that's that. Long positions is just because again the higher time frame expectation was that we were creating this as the A, B, and C, and within wave C we would be looking for a 5-wave structure, and here if we start with a 5-wave structure already, we would be looking for that wave 2, and then upwards we go for that 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Again, 1-to-1 in price is basically just around here, because again we did not really go much less below the original of A wave. So again, the targets would be ranging from anywhere, just swing failure pattern in this wave A here around is that 18.23k, give or take, and then fall down again. If we are just looking at some of the targets here on smaller time frame, we could be looking at these here. 1.618 would not reach the 1-to-1 extension, so there is definitely a possibility where we do this, drop down for 4th, and then upwards. Again, wave, you just got to understand that wave 2 here is not a triangle, but the triangle is in that B wave. I know that sometimes when I talk about triangles here, people are mistaking the area where the triangle actually is. So again, it is not in a wave 2, or it is inside a wave 2, but it is inside the wave B of this wave 2, and not the whole wave 2 as a structure. So that's the difference there. But yeah, the expectation would be something like this, and possibly getting up, divergence here, looking for shorts, and that's all good. Of course, we have targets all the way up in here, and if we would be looking for some of the targets that we had on the previous counts, we could be looking at this as a structure here as well, and looking at some of the retracement targets, and one especially is this one around the 1.382 extension, which has again the golden pocket in its mind, or as a confluence. So this is definitely a area of interest. This would be for the impulse wave count downwards as the main area of interest. But we'll see if that is going to go there, and if we even are going to get this impulse wave at all. Of course, that is not given either. Now let's take a look at the smaller timeframes. Very much the smaller timeframe, as I mentioned. I could not really get a good looking structure here into the end. So we had this as a possible ABC as well, into a W triangle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks very good. We have that divergence. However, again, if we had this as that expanded flat here into that way B, we can't really get a 5-way structure in here. This looks more like a 3-way structure if we have to be labeling it as such. The low on RSI is suggesting that the move here would be some kind of a WXY into these lows. So we can't really fit this idea there. Also, just because again this structure here is so clear as a 5-way move, I can't really say that we have this as a WXY, because again we don't have such a pattern where we have this as a 5, 3, 3. So that's the reason is why we had the counts that we had, and why these counts had to be ended up in here. And yeah, it does not really fit into the idea anymore at all. Of course, we could be forcing some kind of structures in here, and then have some structures coming down, but these again have not taken out the highs here, and there's other possibilities and issues with this as well that I'm not just going to go into detail now, but we have already broken down, so the idea is still valid with the 5-wave structure that we were looking at previously going on. I think that is going to do it for Bitcoin today. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes, link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you in the next video, bye bye.